The one thing that is also connected to your previous question about the culture of the organization, employees believe to what the management is saying. They believe to what I say because they know that I will never tell them anything that they don't believe in. And even if it's something which is not nice to hear or not easy to, I'm going to be very transparent and share it with them. So they feel that they know what's going on. They feel that they're part of the organization. They feel that it belongs to them. I think that that's the essence. We want to make sure that we belong to something, to trust it, and to be ourselves. It's a very, very safe place to be for the employees. And I have, I'm blessed to have a dominant power, quite a lot of female managers or women managers in our company. And I always tell them, none of you is here because you are women or anything else. We are here because you are excellent managers. So they know. And the one thing that I always ask from top management to be yourself, because you are just in your best when you are yourself. So don't hide behind anything. Just be yourself and find the right way to do it. And people feel very comfortable to work with the company because they can be themselves. And as I'll tell all the guys, nobody in the world is better in being yourself than you. So please be in your best and try to make things happen. And they appreciate that. And that's bond us together. So they care about the company, they care about us, they care about me, I care about them. So it's the feeling that we have a strong business commitment to the company and our shareholders, but we are working as one.
I'm Felicia Shakiba, and this is CPO Playbook, where we solve a business challenge in every episode. Guiding an organization through massive transformation, particularly in this era of AI, is no easy feat. Transformation seems to be at every corner. Our guest, Yaky Yanai, is the CEO and President of Pluri, a company that has reinvented itself from pharmaceuticals to a cutting-edge cell expansion technology platform. Along the way, Yaky has led through crisis, reshaped business models, and built a culture so strong that Pluri has been recognized as one of the Israel's top 50 companies to work for 7 years running. We'll talk about culture, trust, resistance to change, and what it takes to rally people around a bold new vision. Yaky, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Felicia. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you. I know that you have said that you underestimated the importance of culture until major crises forced you to see it differently. Can you share that turning point when culture went from nice to have to absolutely central for you as a CEO?
Well, that's I kind of remember it as if it was this morning. I always valued culture, and we built Pluri as a company that allow our employees, I believe, to be in their best. But as you said, it was something that we are doing. And we are doing culture like most of the companies and the culture organization, which was strong. Um, the day that I understood that this is probably the most powerful tool that I have in my bag as the CEO, it was during COVID. It was a rough time. If you remember, it looks like a different world or a different age, but it was only 5 years ago. During COVID, part of it there being massive layoff through Israel and I think globally. People just lost their jobs because company couldn't operate. And very early in the process, I took the management team and we told them we're not going to fire anyone, but we need to protect the company. So we're going to do some serious cutoff to our salaries, starting with me. So I'm going to take 50% off my salary, and you, like the VPs, need to take 30% off, and the lower management will do 25% off. And while we're going to protect the employees that are making relatively less amount of money. It was a rough thing. People were very worried. People were nervous. Nobody knew what's going to happen around the corner. And the decision, first of all, that we're not going to lay out anyone, but we still maintain our cash flow was something quite interesting. And the day was one of the management meetings. We have weekly management meetings that we are, following certain. And one of the employees stepped in and told me, Yaky, can you bring the management team down? And we want to show you something. And we actually stepped down all of the management team, and all the 120 employees of the company just been there cheering to us, like clapping their hands. And they gave all of us like a beautiful note and to say their appreciation that from one hand we're able to protect the company while maintaining our KPIs and OKR. And from that moment, that was one of the biggest success, and we had some great opportunities during COVID that the company skyrocketed during COVID. But that was the day that I understood, and they told us, "We are here for you. I mean, you trusted in us. You didn't lay anyone out, and you earned the trust. So we are here for you to do whatever is needed." And that was like a pure moment of joy in a career as a manager that you say, that's quite amazing. Since then, I know that they will be there for anything that we need because we also earned the trust. It's not a one event process. It's over 2 decades, but that was a one point in time that I can really measure and understand the impact of it on the company.
It's such a bold choice. Uh, I have been part of, unfortunately, many layoffs for many companies, and having to work with management teams and going through cutting discussions. And it's a very bold, rare, but seems like the right choice, what you did. People rallied behind you just because of the choice that you made, not because you asked them to. And I think it speaks volumes to the type of culture that you created, like that foundation of I'm in it with you and you're in it with me. And this is not about saving my job. And I'm not saying that any other CEO who made a different decision is thinking that way, but it is very clear when you make that choice to cut your own salary and the management and so forth versus laying anyone off, that's a really, it screams volumes to your people. And I am not surprised that they did what they did. But Pluri has been named one of the top 50 companies to work for in Israel 7 years in a row. So that tells me about consistency of making good decisions. So, which is very difficult to do. What's at the heart of that recognition, especially when competing with tech giants like Google and Intel?
Well, you should see our facility. We are surrounded by all these giants, and we have like Google, Intel, and Apple, and Elbit, and all the big names that you can think of are actually in our same industrial park. Um, I believe it's the combination that, from one hand, it's very clear the vision of this company and what we like to achieve. And for me, as a manager and my management team, we are very transparent about what's going on. So the employees truly feel is part of the company. And one of the things that I insist that every employee, after 3 months of employment, they're going to be part of the ESOP plan. So all of them are actually shareholders. And one of the things that the way that I speak with the employees and also ask my management to do it as well, speak with the employees as partners, not only as employees. They are part of the company. They own the company. They hold the stock. So that's their company. And that's something that they need to understand on the decision making. That's your company. Make it work. And it's not that you're getting this salary and that's it. So you need to act that way, but also to provide the means, like make sure that all of them will own part of the company. That's something that we do. I'm very blessed with extremely talented management team and HR team that, of course, we work across entire year with the employees and making sure that we are able to make them at their best, professionally wise, but also on the personal level. But the one thing that is also connected to your previous question about the culture of the organization, employees believe to what the management is saying. They believe to what I say, because they know that I will never tell them anything that they don't believe in. And even if it's something which is not nice to hear or not easy to, I'm going to be very transparent and share it with them. So they feel that they know what's going on. They feel that they're part of the organization. They feel that it belongs to them. I think that that's the essence. We want to make sure that we belong to something, to trust it, and to be ourselves. Pluri is a very, very safe place to be for the employees. And I have, I'm blessed to have a dominant power, quite a lot of female managers or women managers in our company. And I always tell them, none of you is here because you are women or anything else. You are here because you are excellent managers. So they know. And the one thing that I always ask from top management to be yourself, because you are just in your best when you are yourself. So don't hide behind anything. Just be yourself and find the right way to do it. And people feel very comfortable to work with the company because they can be themselves. And as I'll tell all the guys, nobody in the world is better in being yourself than you. So please be in your best and try to make things happen. And they appreciate that. And that's bond us together. So they care about the company, they care about us, they care about me, I care about them. So it's the feeling that we have a strong business commitment to the company and our shareholders, but we are working as one. And that's something which is the culture organization. It's about earning the trust of the employees. Not
Ugh,
easy. Any small things.
I couldn't have said it better myself. You specifically said transparency and authenticity bring people together the strongest. That's what I heard.
Yes, that's
Yes.
that make them work, make them want to be successful, and that the company will be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. What a way to bring people together, because there's lots of different ways to do it, but that I feel like has the strongest, most internal incentive to bring people together. But Pluri made a bold shift from pharmaceuticals to cell expansion, impacting industries like food and agriculture and climate. That was a really big shift. It's almost transforming your whole business. How did you communicate that transformation internally without losing people along the way?
That was a bold move. It wasn't an easy one. Um, it's been about 3 years ago when we made a decision to focus in Pluri's key competitive advantage. Pluri is a company that for over 2 decades is expert in developing products, starting with cell-based products for pharmaceutical. But this is what we do, developing cell-based product for a variety of today for different industries. The company had a legacy of developing placenta cells product for therapeutics, which is quite an amazing and unique product, which is going to make a very significant impact on the way that we are treating human beings. But 3 years ago, we understood that we thought that for 15 years we were a pharmaceutical company, but Pluri is actually a technological company. That our key competitive advantage is the knowledge base of how to develop cell-based product. And we are holding this bioreactor system, which is protected by 250 patents, which is probably the most effective system in the world for expanding cells. And after seeing what we did to date and understanding that the company, of course, need to be successful financially, that was the minute that we did the transformation, changing entirely the company from 15 years doing pharma, only pharma, to using the same platform to create different cell-based product. And that can be pharmaceutical product, cultivated meat, or plant-based product like coffee, cocoa, whatnot. That was a big shift because people say, people were recruited to Pluri for saving life. That was the mission. And I still, that's a very novel thing to do. But making the shift was a 2 months process. That's the longest 2 months I had in my life. Really, it was a nightmare. I can
Oh
tell
my God.
you.
I can only imagine. I'm surprised it only lasted 2 months. I mean, it's an incredible shift.
Yeah, but that was like the intense and everything starts with a good crisis. And this case was a failure in one of the phase 3 studies. And as Churchill said, it's a waste to not to be able to use a good crisis to make a change. But that was the time that we said we're gonna need to make things differently. We're gonna make this company profitable. We're gonna use our key competitive advantage to be the best in the world in what we are doing. And it's something that started with the management team to make the buyout from the board level to the management team. I had a clear vision from day one. I just saw it, what needs to be done. I prepared to, but it takes time to communicate and to make sure that they're going to be a buy-in into it. And I'm very stubborn, but very patient. Even though, it's part of that I can as a CEO to say, this is what we do and let's start tomorrow to do it. I rather sometimes take the long path and to make sure that everyone eventually will be in line or understand the rationale of what we are doing, even if it's going to take longer. And it started with the management team to show them the vision, the concept, like starting from scratch, and to show them what we need to achieve and when, and why I believe this is so important, transforming the big opportunity that we have in front of us. And yes, pharma, it's an amazing thing, and creating stem cells for therapeutics, it's amazing. We're still going to do it, but in a different scope. While we're going to use the same platform to use it for additional application, first in kind. Nobody is doing it. I mean, that's the only company that was crazy enough to think of something like this. But we said, and I explained the rationale, came with a lot of, backed by the way that I see the roadmap, the way that I see the market, the opportunity, the need, and our key competitive advantage. And I was keep asking my management team, what is the one thing that we can be the best in the world? Not second, not third. I want to be the best in the world. Show me the one thing that we can do. And eventually, through this process, we came to the conclusion that this is what we are the best in the world. We are the best cell-based technology platform in the world. We can create different cells. It can be human cells, animal cells, plant-based. This is what we know to do. We can create a product and to provide the technology to do it on a very large scale. And when you start to imagine and to see how it's going to look in the future, people start to realize that. Not easy at all, but so it was very intensive 2 months, and probably took a year until it was fully incorporated to the new DNA of the company. This is also the time when I made the change in the name of the company from Pluri to Pluri. Just scrap 4 letters, but it was a big difference. And this is the change that we did. Non-traditional, but we're not traditional guys, so I don't care. As long as it makes sense and the business is going to be there, and I can convince that can be the best company in the world in what we are doing, I love it and we're going to pursue it.
We'll be right back. Back to the show. Yeah. The resistance was obviously there. I mean, that was the biggest challenge for you to transform, for those employees who had joined to save lives, like you mentioned, through pharma. How did you help them particularly reframe their sense of purpose within this new vision?
Yeah, that was probably the most difficult thing to do. When people say I was recruited for doing only pharma, so why do you think that making coffee in a bioreactor is a mission that I should do? And it started from all levels. Actually, from the board of directors, because we are talking about the employees, but you need also to manage the culture from the board of directors.
Yes, I agree with that, by the way, as a good statement. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Go on.
So I did quite an quite an interesting outing to this concept on the first board meeting, and basically telling them, guys, for 15 years, we thought that we are a pharmaceutical company, but we are actually a technological company. And they were looking at me and said, what do you mean? And I started to show them like the assets that we have in the company. And these are the assets that we have. These are our assets which are more relevant for technological company, not necessarily pharmaceutical company. And this is our key competitive advantage, getting them to the SWOT of the company, getting them to the vision and the way I see. And that was brutal. So first of all, making sure that I'm going to have the consent from the board to push it forward. But for me, even more importantly, was the management team. This is like the heart of the company. And if I'm able to convince my management team, they will convince all my employees. It was important for me to convince them, not to instruct them, to show them what I see And that was like a day by day for 2 months. I literally stopped all the activity of the company, all the activity. We told the employees, things that need to be done, but that was the only thing that the management team was doing for 2 months. They wanted to, they screamed, they yelled, they they couldn't believe that I'm getting them through this process. But I was very consistent. We actually discussed it day in, day out of what and see, where we see the advantages, the risk, and do we believe that we can build a profitable business and a company that can change this world and suddenly even expanding, the purpose of the company or the vision for only pharma. We said, okay, now we are actually tackling much more than that. We're talking well-being, sustainability. We're going to be the one that will be able to face the challenges of, climate change because we need to produce the product differently. So we actually expanded. I always say we expanded biotechnology. We thought that it's only pharmaceutical biotechnology. No, but biotechnology is everywhere. It's in the food, it's in the plant, it's everywhere. This is the thinking about the source, the nature of this planet and the different organisms, and we are playing on the cellular level, and that's quite amazing to see the creation and what we can do with the technology in order to promote it and to give solutions to human beings. And for me, it's all the same thing. And yeah, I got a
So
lot of gray hair during these 2 months, definitely.
the vision was clearly there. I mean, I can see the vision as you speak, but you mentioned that management initially resisted the change. So can you walk us through how did you get buy-in from open discussions to scenario analysis to then setting clear KPIs or OKRs?
Of course, you need to start. It's been a process, and not all the management team was able to accept it in a similar way. And I knew it.
Yeah.
So, for example, my CTO, which is a great technological guy, we discussed this concept even ahead of time. So, we started to build this vision around him, and I told him, this is what I see. And this is what I think the main power of what we are doing. I need to know that you're going to be part of it and actually understand the vision. And very quickly, I was able to get his buy-in. And for me, it was a very, very critical point. And then, like one by one, and you need to understand how it's going to impact them and how it's going to change their life or their vision or their importance in the company. Think of a company, Pluri, or then Pluri STEM, used to run two-phase 3 study. Two-phase 3 study for generative medicine. The clinical department, the R&D department, were in their peak. This is what we were doing. And as part of the decision that I made, it's not only, changing the vision, it was also following by very difficult steps, like I'm going to terminate the phase 3 studies that I believe that are not the right one for us. That was, as you think, a very significant and very not easy things to do, also for themselves. But the concept was, first of all, build the teams that can work. It's not all the team working together. So we're actually building the teams that are doing the assessment of each and every part of this strategy and what can we achieve. And when I'm saying cell-based technology platform, okay, what the hell does it mean? What I'm going to do with that? It's a nice phrasing, but what we're going to sell tomorrow. So identifying the industries, doing the analysis, like bringing our analysts to come with real figures, real numbers. What is the potential? Where is the competition? Building the strategy itself, like looking the long-term vision and strategy of the company, how it's going to be defined and what will be the business model that we're going to operate. So we had a lot of like small teams working together that every few hours came together and presented their work. We call it the Phoenix Project. That was the name of the project. Like Phoenix, I told them we need to burn Pluristem and to get birth again to Pluri. It's a really unique experience. That's for me. It was the most amazing things that I did in my life as a manager. Very rough. You learn a lot about yourself, about your team, about what is important to you and to the company. It was quite an amazing experience.
It sounds like the transformation was also about like loss, a feeling of, "Well, we've lost momentum on the original." vision, or we've lost the work that we've been doing. It sounds like that was one of the main struggles, was getting comfortable with the feeling of loss in order to make room for the new vision to thrive.
Yeah, that's the time that you need to be very authentic, because I lost as well. I mean, for me, I love, don't get me wrong, I love the pharmaceutical application and using sales. We are doing it, but we are doing it in different way, which is more appropriate to the size and capabilities of the company. So we said we're going to focus on the initial steps. We're going to do like the early studies, phase one, a preclinical phase one. We're going to take it to partnerships. We're going to focus in our key competitive advantage. Again, the knowledge base and the technology that can do it on scale. And you need to be very, to be very clear. Why do you think that it makes sense business-wise and to the company? But you agree, and you need not to ignore the loss, is actually to be able to openly discuss it. Because people were, yeah, they invested a lot of time, effort, and resources. We invested resources into it, but to show them how it's going to look in the new, like the new Pluri that was burned from the ashes now. And that's not something that happened overnight. I mean, I told you it's intensive 2 months, but it took about a year to be able to digest it. Not everyone was able to do it, but gladly, all the key guys, and I was able to keep over 90% of the people that I wanted to keep, which was for me a big success.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's natural. People who are not aligned, they should leave, because not because it's a bad thing, but they should go do the things and participate in activities that they feel fully aligned with, and that's great for them, and that's great for the organization. Was there a moment of breakthrough where you felt the organization finally turned the corner and embraced this new direction?
Yeah. So, as I always say, for every great strategy, you need this a little bit of a luck to make sure it's going to be successful. So, as good as your
Right. Yeah.
strategy,
I'll agree to that.
Eh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, in that case, people believe in action and people believe in what they see. It's not only about talking and presenting great slides and great vision. People want to see the things in their own eyes, and I call it luck, but it's coming with a lot of hard work, of course. But very quickly after we came with this strategy, basically presenting the different verticals that we would like to operate with this technology, we were able to come with the first partnership, which was very meaningful. And we did it. I mean, we initiated a discussion. It was actually started like immediately after these 2 months with the partner. And 4 months later, we were able to execute a deal, a transaction that we build a joint venture with this company for cultivated meat. This is the largest company in Israel, a subsidiary of one of the largest companies in the world for food and beverage, that they made a nice investment into this joint venture that we build using our technology. And I'm saying luck because this deal was exactly the way I was putting, and actually, show it on the board, how I see the vision and what we're going to execute. Since then, we did a different transactions, that they had a change or they had a twist. But this first deal was 100% for what I showed them that I believe that we can do. What is the kind of partner that we are tackling? How I believe a deal should look like. And luckily, we're able to execute it faster than we expected. So when people see the concept, the vision and idea, seeing the execution very close to when it happened, they say, okay, now I get it. So it's not only on the board that we are painting in PowerPoints. I know how it's impacting me now. And that was a big moment of that. I believe that the strategy in me earned the full confidence of the entire organization, that showed them that it can happen. And since then, thanks God, we're able to do a series of transactions that showing that it works. And when you bring like the best companies in the world to work with you, starting, from the U.S. military to Nuva or to Bright Food and to Cargill and to like leading ICL, like tier A companies in their field, then saying, hey, we like what you're doing, and we know that your technology is great, and your model, when you are focusing in the technology and manufacturing and allow us to do the marketing, is perfect for us. So this is how you gradually buy the confidence. And I believe today that the employees of Pluri believe that we are building the largest platform in the world for cell-based technologies. And they know, for them, it's the same thing, expanding percentages for therapeutics or doing coffee. They got it. I mean, it takes time to get it, but, leading by example, it's also showing that your vision works and you can translate it to business models and not only in theory.
Okay, so you've created this new vision. You've gotten your people on board. You've convinced and influenced management. You're reshaping culture. You've lost a few people, rightfully so, right? Which will happen. You've applied cell expansion technology beyond healthcare into areas like cultivating meat, coffee, cacao. How do you think about expanding this vision, but without diluting the focus?
That was the thing that make me most worried about our strategy, which I spend a lot of time to shape it because I believe in extreme focus. This is something that need to be done in order to be successful. I mean, this world is demanding. You need to be a real pro in your field to be successful. But then you understand that the one thing that Pluri is doing, we're not a coffee company, we're not a meat company, we're even not a pharmaceutical company. The one thing that we are doing is we're a cell-based technology platform. We are the enabling company that brings the technology that can do it. And for every activity that you mentioned, I'm building a separate entity. So we have Ever After Foods, which are doing cultivated meat. They have their CEO, they have the CTO, they have the team, but they actually have an access to a 20 years old technology that we invested $400 million into it. So they can be like the best company in the world in cell expansion that can do scale. And these guys will present our systems by the end of this year, beginning of next year, that can manufacture tons of meat per week. Nobody in the world can do it. And when I decided that to do the coffee, because I got a call from one of the biggest companies in the world showing me the coffee crisis and what's going on now. I didn't know that we are losing production on coffee. And I'm a big coffee lover.
Oh no. What would the world do without coffee?
According to the official numbers, we're going to lose 50%, 50% of the production in 20 years.
Wow.
Well, that's not good. Someone need to save the day. Well,
Yes. Are you here to save the day? We all need coffee.
we showed the
I'm a big
model.
I'm a big tea drinker, but I'll go with many people that I know that need coffee.
It's the second largest commodity in the world, so we are tackling here a big opportunity that strategics tells us we need to find a solution. Changing climate is real, and we're losing production, and we need to find new ways to do it. And by the way, it's need to be coffee. We don't want to have any other, things that looks like coffee or taste like coffee. We want real coffee. And that's part of the strength of Pluri today. We can take, a sample of coffee plant. We can put them in our systems. We did it already. We know that it works. We can expand it. And I show them from the one system that we have, like our industrial scale system, we produce per year the amount of coffee that is equivalent to 500,000 coffee plants. That's a lot.
Wow.
And we work with the farmers. Because I said Pluri is a company that invests in the culture. I love culture. I like the culture of coffee. I like the farmers. I smell the soil and, I want to cry. I love it. So we work with these guys and we actually enabling our technology to the farmers to work together with them to make sure that we are building something together. But Coffee Sci has its own CEO and they're building the team. So for if every activity, the same thing for Kokomodo, the cultivated cacao. We have someone that leads this initiative, and that's her own company. This is the company that she cares about, but being also part of the family. So Pluri is like the big platform, the mothership. Our strategy as Pluri Corporate is to continue to develop this platform to make it the best in the world. But the other subsidiaries or the companies that they have, their vision is to bring the best solution in the world to create cultivated coffee, meat, or cocoa, and they have the dedicated team that doing, but relying on the mothership that provides the technology, the scale, the 250 patents, everything that we have. So that's the uniqueness of this model. From one hand, focus on Pluri parent company, focus on the corporate strategy and the core technology, and the satellites have their own activity that they have an extreme focus on that end. And that brings, of course, it's also a new model of creating a group of companies within Pluri. It's quite amazing, I can tell you. That brings, of course, different challenges, different tasks, but I love it. I mean, we are in a flexible world. We need to come with new models. It's not the models that have been here for 200 years.
We'll be right back. Back to the show. It sounds like an amazing adventure that you're on. Like that you've been on, and what I've heard from you leading up to this point, I feel like there's so much more adventure just waiting for you and your team that I could only imagine how far you guys will go. The last question I have is really for leaders who are listening, who are about to embark on a transformation of their own, be it AI or change in product or whatever it is. What is your one piece of advice for guiding people through uncertainty and resistance?
Well, from one end, it's a very complicated answer or complicated question to answer. But on the other end, it's simple. Eventually, I think as leaders, as the CEOs, you need to have this understanding and knowledge that you believe in what you are doing and to know what you want to achieve. And once you are, rock solid and you believe that this is where you need to take the organization, don't allow, the people that are, because everybody's going to tell you that you're wrong. In the last 3 years, I heard it 1,000 times. I listen to that. I listen to these voices. But the most important thing, listen to your voice. For me, that's the most important thing. Eventually, to understand why I embarked to this journey and why I believe in it, to keep reminding myself and to make sure that you listen to everyone, you're making changes where is needed. So, but listen first and foremost to yourself because you're the one, the CEO. And I had the luxury to be with the company for a while doing the change, because I think that good CEOs are the one that knows their company the best, and they know that it's not only about knowing, it's about feeling the employees, feeling the rooms, feeling the technology. You know how it's going to look like. So once it makes sense, move forward. Be precise, be clear, be authentic, be transparent, but don't make people get you out of your way. It's never an easy journey. We were sentenced to live life of of endless endless efforts to make our vision to become a reality, but stick with it. Challenge yourself, listen to what you hear, but make sure that you listen to yourself, not only to the people outside of the room. For me, that was the most important thing that balanced me back every time that I did it. It's I know that a bunch of the CEOs are making today changes and shifts, and that's a good thing. We are living in a flexible new world. Things need to be changed, and we need to be innovative. We need to think. We need to be creative. We need to change things the way that we are doing. I hope that I'm building the largest ecosystem in the world for cell-based products. I'm building my own universe with many companies, and I'm sure that many CEOs are doing as great work as we do. And so that's the fun part of it, the creation.
Thank you so much for being on this show. This has been one of my favorite episodes to record because I have seen CEOs in and out. I've seen the things that they do successfully. I've seen the things that, and I understand why they get in so much trouble. And if I had $1 million to invest, I would put it into Pluri. I would, because I just, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, what you're doing is fantastic and amazing, but it's about the team and the management team, and the way that you make decisions is really what makes companies thrive. And you're just on your way. So,
Thank you very much, Felicia.
yeah.
And from this podcast and the call that we have, I'm sure that you're going to make much more than $1 million in your career because you're doing something great. So I'm going to hold you for your.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to keep tabs on each other, right? Is that what we're here?
Thank you. Thank you for what you said.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Our pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If today's episode captured your interest, please consider sharing it with a friend and leaving a review. To learn more about how CPO Playbook can support you or a leader you know with executive coaching or organizational transformation, visit us at cpoplaybook.com. Your support as a subscriber means the world to us, so thank you for tuning in. I'm Felicia Shakiba. Let's connect on LinkedIn.